You want real money. You don't want garbage paper. Because when Bitcoin's value continues to appreciate, and of course it will, mathematically, it's guaranteed to go up forever because that paper is going to zero. So you'll forget how much of a discount you gave initially because you're actually holding sound money. And Bitcoiners are a different breed. When things get really bad, you're going to see a lot of Bitcoiners literally save the world. I mean, I don't know of any Bitcoiners I mean, most Bitcoiners that I know aren't accumulating Bitcoin to be rich, like to be like the richest body in the graveyard. Like for me, money means nothing anymore. Ever since they stole my life, really, I don't give a shit about the money. It's not about that. It's about the mission. It's about the purpose. It's about putting an end to abuse and empowering people with the tools that they need to regain control over their lives and their dignity, especially if they have kids, to have them live in a future where no one can abuse them anymore, right? So this is what Bitcoin represents. It's not an asset. It's not an investment. It's not something that you're going to buy today to sell for shit dollars or euros. It's money. It's your generational wealth that's going to take you from a world of abuse into a world of freedom. 100%. You just need to learn these 7, 8 steps and it's done.
And I love it. I think I saw, according to that, to remind me of that, your tweet from, I think yesterday I saw it, which was basically, I can actually pull that up for people because I think it's an amazing tweet and a very good message that I very much approve of. I'll quickly pull it up. You said here, no, not the picture. You said here, in 2019, my life was stolen from me. The biggest lesson I learned since then is that I wasted years hustling, grinding, and chasing success just to justify my existence. And today, I wish I hadn't worked so hard. And you basically go in there with like you blinded yourself with what really matters by work and all of that. And this is such an amazing, like I read through that tweet and it was just like an amazing reminder of like, life is what's important, and having the time to think through things, be a critical thinker, and be not blinded by being in the rat race, and just like shuffling for the next thing. I love that thread and love that tweet, so that I wanted to bring it up here because I think it deserves more attention. 8,000 views is great, but it deserves more attention than that, I feel.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. This thing sits with me every single day of my life. I mean, when I think back to this, it was, I think, one of the biggest betrayals that I've ever, had to endure. Not only did I not spend enough time, with those around me, because of course, you're brainwashed to think success, 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 more money, more money, more money. And so you don't think twice about it. And then for what? You save all this money, you live an honest and hardworking life, thinking you've done the right thing, and then the same people steal it all from you. So what was it all for? This is why I'm saying when you live through something like this, your lens on the world does a 180 and it never ever goes back. For me, I am so grateful and thankful that Bitcoin exists. When I came across Bitcoin about 9 months after, a very dark period of my time, it was the Andreas Antonopoulos video that I saw. Robin, I think for the first time in 9 months, I smiled. Like, I mean, before that, those that know me, if ever you encounter any of them, they will tell you it was very dangerous to speak to me, because I was just filled with darkness, rage, shame. I didn't want to know anything. Like that mindset was very, very toxic, very, very unhealthy. And so I kept to myself because I knew that it wasn't going to take much before I do something I regret. Thankfully, it passed. And when I came upon that video, like I had to listen to it like maybe 2 or 3 times, and I think I smiled. And because I smiled, I think I scared people around me because they're like, "Holy shit, why is he smiling?" Something must be up. And so I didn't believe it. Like I was so amazed by what I saw. I didn't want to set myself up for disappointment. So I had to be sure that Bitcoin wasn't some other elaborate scam or too good to be true thing that I'm going to get carried away in just because I'm desperate. So I tried to destroy it myself, bringing, all my knowledge, all just things that I just knew from my own, IT and cybersecurity experience, just to try to tear it apart. Of course, I failed. And by the same stretch, I also learned that, many governments and people before me with way more resources than I have also tried, and they all failed. And that's when it really started to sink. And I dove down the rabbit hole, and eventually, one plus one plus one led me to, the co-founding of the Bitcoin Way. And here we are, passing those tools of empowerment to as many folks as we can reach. It's an incredible time to be living here. For me, like, we are witnessing history unfold in real time. We are witnessing the collapse of an empire in real time, something I never dreamt I'd be alive to see. We are witnessing it. This is what we are living through right now. Some people are paying more attention to it, of course, than others, but sooner or later, and it's not gonna be that much later. Everybody's going to start focusing on a proper solution.
I love that. And it really shines the light of like we have to focus on separating money from state. And I think we talked about it before we actually started recording, that this is actually when I brought up the core versus nods thing, I think you said something like we have to focus on the real enemy. And the real enemy is not someone that runs a node that you don't like. The real enemy is the state. We want to separate the state from money, and that's kind of where we should focus on. That's the main mission of Bitcoin, and this should be the main mission of every Bitcoiner, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, humanity needs to learn to unite together again. I mean, we're put on this earth not to live like donkeys. We're put on this earth to live like human beings that love and care about each other, no matter where you come from. But, we've been forced into a system that is just founded on hate. Like, you cannot put it in any other way. The fiat system, just breeds hate and division no matter where you look at it. It funds wars, it funds genocides, it funds division, it funds hatred, it funds all sorts of insanity. Why? Because it keeps you distracted from who's behind all of this shit. It keeps you distracted from looking up at who's controlling the strings, right? So until you had something, that beacon of truth, that option, that valid option that casts a spotlight on this, we would have never known. We would have always trying to find an answer from within the same problem, right? Which is why I was laughing when I was at the Nomad Capitalist, where I heard, well, if your bank is terrible, just we'll find another bank. No, for me, it was almost comical to hear it. I'm like, what are you saying? Another bank is not the solution. The solution is to leave the fucking bank and become self-sovereign, holding your own money, living on your own terms. You don't need anyone. Like, you're not dumb to learn the 7 steps, right? You just, first of all, need to be aware that that option is a valid one and is available to you. And then either you learn it yourself or you seek the help of an expert to teach you in a very short period of time. So I'm very bullish on the future, man. Like, I mean, I know we spoke about a lot of things, but when you live and breathe Bitcoin on a daily basis, you encounter some of the best human beings in the world. This is what's really the most rewarding aspect of my work these days, are the people. Every day I get on a phone or I get on a video call like I'm doing here with you, and that experience, that chemistry with folks that you've never seen before, but somehow connect with on so many levels, almost instantly, magically, it is remarkable. And why I also mentioned in another tweet that Bitcoin circular economies are going to become insanely valuable and precious. And we're already starting to see this. We live in a Bitcoin circular economy. We invite like-minded individuals organically. They find us, we find them, and everybody lives together. Everybody's always naturally willing to help and go out of their way to assist and, shine that beacon of truth to someone who is struggling, right? This is the nature of true Bitcoiners, not the fake ones that are shilling Bitcoin treasuries and ETFs and all that other fucking garbage. Those you ignore. Those are number go up fucking bullshit. True Bitcoiners care about humanity, and they will teach you the skills to become sovereign. That is the best gift anyone can give you, in my opinion, is how to become fully autonomous. Break free of that matrix. Break free of that mindset where you need somebody's permission to do something. You don't.
Uh, I have so many interesting thoughts on that. But one thing that you said that I think stood out to me that I think we never talked about, you and me, was mining. We talk a lot about like running your node, self-custody. Why is it important to also mine? And I actually recently started, I think like 3 months or 4 months ago at this point, the mine. I have like 3S21 machines finally running, which is really, really amazing. But like, why is mining an important equation of that?
Well, mining, I mean, there's a lot of people are complaining about this, like the risk of centralized mining. And so, I mean, mining is a very technical space. I mean, I'm not an expert on the field, but I can tell you that the more people engage with it in terms of solo mining, I think if we have a large number of folks doing it, at some point we can shift that, that centralization, amongst 8 billion people, if eventually everybody gets into it. The solo mining devices are plug and play. I mean, they're getting cheaper over time and their hash rate is, getting higher. On a superficial level, most people get into this because it's sort of like a lottery ticket, right? Like, I mean, if your miner hits a block, well, then you get pure virgin Bitcoin, 3.125 as of this conversation, straight into your no KYC wallet. So no one knows about this. If you want to share the news, that's up to you, but otherwise nobody knows. So, and it's very addictive. Like people start with one solo miner and they're always staring at that screen, hoping they wake up and they see all these blinking colors and, you just made 3.125 Bitcoin. But solo mining can be done via your own node, which is where you really set it up in a true decentralized way. Like for example, if you're using a Start9 node, you can set up your own datum server, route your solo miner, your Bidax or similar through it, where you're generating your own templates. True decentralized solo mining. So if enough people do this, in the same way we try to push people to run their own nodes, then you like significantly increase the decentralized nature of the mining. And people saying, yeah, but it's so rare for a solo miner to hit a block. That's not true, man. If you've been following the news, more often than not, you hear or you see a tweet about some unknown miner who actually hit a block. So it might be rare, but it's not that rare. So we encourage everybody to do it. And if you're going to do it, route it via your own node. If you don't know how to do it because it's a little bit technical, we can absolutely help you with this. This is how we run all our solo miners. Depending where you live in the world, if you have access to free energy, we will help you set up mining farms where you can, literally have your own Bitcoin like setup here, and you can do whatever you want.
Especially a message to everyone that buys lottery tickets. You get a lot of better odds on the solo miners than if you actually buy a lottery ticket.
Absolutely. Hands down, the odds are better on the solo mining than that Fiat lotto ticket. For sure, for sure.
I have one last topic I want to discuss with you. It's something that I struggle with. It's like when we have this world that we are going into this Bitcoin world. There's two main things, two main paths. The first path is that like Bitcoin is a freedom option, but a lot of it is still fiat, and we've seen like a lot of fiat currency being completely debased, but they just make a new one until it's debased again, and just this fiat thing goes on and on. Even currency that has like 50, 100% inflation, even like month over month, they still exist. Like people still like trust them, which makes me crazy, but it's reality. Where I think like, okay, are we going the path where we still have fiat, but we have a freedom option of Bitcoin, or is fiat collapsing? Not in the sense of like it's going down a lot in value, but just like completely vanishing from Earth. And I switch between those like almost every other day because there's for me a lot of there's this one thing on the one side where I'm like, these fiat systems are so bad, but still people do it. And the network effects are just so big, and the governments and the central banks really don't want to give up any control. But at the same time, when they lose more and more of the purchasing power, and we're already seeing that in the last 16 years towards Bitcoin, even though it's still very, very small, 2 trillion is nothing against the 1,000 trillions that are out there. I think we will probably end up in a Bitcoin world. But especially from someone that lived through that fiat collapse, I would be interested in, like, do you think that we will have a world where Bitcoin is a huge option and also dominating in the asset space, but there are also government tokens, or is there like all those government tokens kind of vanish because only Bitcoin really has value?
No, I think they're going to exist for a while. We're going to coexist with fiat simply because fiat's been around for such a long time. And the main obstacle to that utopian world that you're describing isn't Bitcoin itself, it's people. Like how fast people understand and adopt this. That's really where the delay comes in. You can already live on a Bitcoin standard. I mean, fiat can exist, but as I said earlier, it's once you understand Bitcoin, fiat is optional. Like you don't have like I don't have a bank account. I've never had a bank account since they stole my bank account, so I don't want one anymore. Um, you don't have to live in that world. You deal with it when you have to. Like, let's say you have a fiat bill you have to pay. Sure, okay, you sell some of your Bitcoin, you pay it, and then you don't look back. So I think we're going to live in a parallel world where you have Bitcoin circular economies or economies in general that are just thriving. Countries are even adopting Bitcoin, to pay for public services and what have you. So depending where you live, at some point, even though fiat exists, you may not notice, or you'll probably forget about it because it's not within your everyday life circle. People ask me, so how do you live on a Bitcoin standard if it's not everywhere yet? Well, look, it's very easy. First of all, there are thousands of merchants today that accept Bitcoin as payment. So yes, you may have to do a little bit of research depending where you are, but every week, every month, like hundreds of merchants come online that accept Bitcoin. And if you live in, I guess, certain countries, stores, you walk in and you can pay them immediately in Bitcoin. So that's one. The other way to do it is that there are on and off ramps now that give you debit cards, Visa, MasterCard, what you're normally accustomed to, except you load them up with your Bitcoin. And so you go on in the world, tap, 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 buying whatever it is that you want. In the background, that on ramp, that off ramp is selling your Bitcoin that you've loaded into that local currency to pay for the item. So when you can pay for Bitcoin natively, you do it. In the events that you can't, you use these cards. Eventually, like for example, in my case, my fiat rails, I use them very, very, like significantly less than I used to like three years ago because all my world now is almost 100% Bitcoin. At the Bitcoin way, we only accept Bitcoin. We only pay out in Bitcoin. We have never had a single penny in fiat in or out of the Bitcoin way. So, and there's more companies adopting that same strategy. And as time progresses, I suspect more people are going to, as they learn these skills, they're going to follow the same playbook because that is real money. So I think the US dollar probably live the longest now if they actually go through with the Stablecoin Act, which I think they will. Um, I think what that's going to do is that it's probably going to kill 170 other currencies and keep the US stablecoin like the most dominant one. But eventually, even that is going to lead people into Bitcoin because it's still backed by the same money printer that has no value, right? So it's going to be a transition, but you don't have to worry about that. You can already live in the Bitcoin future today. Do a little bit of research, surround yourself with like-minded individuals, ask questions. There are millions of folks that are living it already. You just don't hear about them because they're just minding their own business. But I can tell you that there are a lot of folks on that standard and are very happy with the decision that they made. So one, protect the money, learn how to use it, Bitcoin and self-custody. And then two, protect yourself. Find a jurisdiction that treats you as a human being, that doesn't harass you all day long, and certainly doesn't tax you to death. So these options exist, and once you experience it, you will never go back. Like you literally will never go back to your old life.
Thank you for watching this video. This was only a snippet of the podcast. And if you want to watch the full episode and get all of the context of this episode, you can click right here or here. Oh, maybe also here.